The van teardown begins. Before I brought it inside, I'm just going to go ahead and just take all the interior pieces out. So I just got the seats out. I'll leave the driver's seat in for now so that I can drive it in. And then I think I'll just start ripping apart the front and do the engine just like I did the ST. It's going to be a bit tight in here, but I've got basically a whole Ford Focus. Plus I have to bring my other cars in here at night, but I got the whole ST motor right there, got the van pulled in. I already started stripping the interior down. So I'll start taking this apart and then begin the swap process. So I think the first step is going to be like I do the ST. I'm just going to take the whole front end apart and then take the engine out and then work my way into the interior. Never taken a Transit van apart, so this will be a first. And then I'm going to take a lot of pictures, label everything, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get this guy in there. And all right, Transit van is coming apart, basically almost exactly like the Focus. A few differences. So got this all out. So next step probably going to be to take the radiator, AC, and all that out of the way, and then we'll get ready to pull the engine out. Okay, this is interesting. This is a bit different on the Transit. On the ST, this just comes down and goes over, but on the Transit, it actually has this tube, and it goes all the way back to the control arm. I'm not sure if I'll keep that. I'll probably just use the ST one, but we'll see how that goes. I just thought that was interesting. It's a lot more stout and beefy than the ST. This is my stopping point right now. Should be able to get the whole engine pulled out tomorrow, or whenever I start working on it again. There's really not much more to pull out. So we'll get the engine out and then we can start working on the interior. There we go, guys. The Transit Connect whole front subframe, engine, transmission, steering rack, all that is pulled out. So we're getting really close now. So what I'm going to do now is finish pulling. Well, actually, I'll probably do the engine bay harness second. I'm going to start doing the dash and everything now. But this is a huge, huge step. You can see like it's very, very similar to a Focus SE ST. So hopefully a lot of it will just bolt right up. We'll see. Alright, here is a breakdown and just some visual real quick between the Transit Connect dash and then here's the Focus ST or SE dash. They're really similar in a lot of ways, but the Transit Connect dash kind of comes in a bit more and this one kind of pokes out a little more by the door. I'm going to make it work, I think, in the Transit. I'm going to end up probably cutting a portion of this off and then kind of grafting it in here and extending this out. And then here's a little bit of a difference between the two dash harnesses. So this is the driver's side. This is where, or dash frames. This is where the steering wheel mounts up. The biggest difference on the two is on the Transit, it bolts up to the top of it, where in the Focus it goes through the firewall. But luckily, there's actually the holes already there. There's just plugs in them. So I just pulled the holes out, and then this dash frame will literally just bolt right up, just like the Transit dash frame, which means that I can use the Focus ST center console versus the Transit center console. And then I can use the ST shifters or shift cables, the heater boxes. So you can see they're basically the same. The Transit just has this additional piece that goes up to the top of that dash for the defrost. But other than that, like, everything is basically the same thing here. So it's all Ford stuff. So Ford used a lot of the same stuff assembling these. So I think that kind of makes sense. But we'll see. I'm going to try to use as much from the Focus as I possibly can. So far, the only thing I think that I'm going to lose on the van is the rear AC and heat system. Because I'm thinking I'm going to use the Ford Focus body control harness, and then that won't have the stuff for that. But I mean, everything else, I think that's fine. So that's kind of what it looks like so far. But yeah, this is where the dash mounted up in here, but then in the Focus it goes through these holes, which are right here underneath, and there's just these little plugs there. So that's great. Everything else though is basically the exact same. We'll just take it apart little by little, and we're making real good progress. We are making really good progress. So I got the whole engine bay harness pulled, as well as the dash and the dash harness, brake booster, ABS module, all that stuff. So I'll start doing the body harness and stuff, and then we'll basically go into rebuild mode and start putting everything together with all the ST parts. I have an idea for the dash, and yeah, I think it'll be good. So I did get my Ford Mustang EcoBoost fuel line. So it's important because on the ST it has this thing right here, which goes into that high pressure fuel pump thing here. And the Transit doesn't have it because it has a whole different fuel system. So I got this so that I can run this. Okay, the whole body harness is out. I was just doing a little bit of a comparison between the ST harness and the Transit van harness. So we'll have a lot of things that are the same, a few things that are different. Gonna definitely need to do a little bit of soldering and connector changes, but for the most part I think I should be able to just throw a lot of this in. And the goal is just to make the Transit think it's a Focus ST. So we're really just using the Transit body, but as far as the computers, all the drivetrain, all of the wiring harnesses, it'll think it's a Focus ST. It just isn't a Transit van body. So I'll be working on that, and then just kind of taking it one little step at a time here, and then we'll keep plugging away.